Hello everyone. Today we will talk about spirituality and faith, and I will touch on such questions as what is spirituality? Is spirituality necessarily connected to faith? Is spirituality important in the recovery process of an addict? Okay, so as many other things, spirituality does not have a universal definition. So I will just express my point of view on this. So I think spirituality is about widening, expanding consciousness and enriching your inner world. And let's go a bit deeper into this, okay? Widening or expanding consciousness, what does that actually mean? It means that from the moment that you start having interests more than what am I going to eat today, what's on telly today, my job, cleaning the house, stuff like that. In other words, once you start thinking above the material world or beyond just the material existence, you start your spiritual awakening. And that means that you no longer live in autopilot mode, if I may say that. And what is that exactly, the autopilot mode? It means that you are born and you start gathering information. Something from your parents, something from your teachers, something from the neighbor, something from the friend, stuff like that. And you are given a certain program, like you have to learn in school, you have to work, you have to build a house, you have to have kids, have a family, and you live your entire life not questioning these things, not even once. That is the autopilot mode. But when you start thinking about stuff like, where did this all come from? Who am I? What is my place in this entirety? What is my role? What is my link to everything that surrounds me? These kind of questions, they start your spiritual awakening, and you start expanding your consciousness, and you develop self-consciousness. You start living in a very close contact with your true self. And that's very important, friends. And you start paying attention to how your actions, how your words, how your behavior is affecting the surrounding world. And you start thinking beyond smartphones, riches, money, careers, jobs, chores, food, TikTok and stuff like that. You start expanding your consciousness. Your perception of the world and your perception of life, it starts to expand. You start to understand yourself better, and you start to understand the surrounding world better. And that's one part of spirituality. The other part is about enriching your inner world. And that is the totality of your life principles, your beliefs, and your values, your moral structure, your moral fiber. And you start enriching your inner world along with your spiritual development. And that is especially important for drug addicts in recovery. Why? I've talked about this in another video of mine, so you will find the link in the description. Drug addiction seriously destroys the moral structure of a human being, because inevitably you start going against your life principles, your beliefs, and your values change. So you start lying to your parents, you start stealing from friends, you start manipulating, you start betraying people's trust and stuff like that. So your moral being is just collapsing. And spirituality is very important because it can help generate or regenerate your moral being, and not only regenerate your values and your life principles, but also give you new ones. Just expand your moral wealth, if you like. Okay, so spirituality is very important. Is it necessarily connected to faith? No. No, it's not. And the proof is that there are spiritual people who are not faithful people. They do not believe in God. But they are decent, good, loving, responsive people. So you can be spiritual without being faithful. Okay? It's not necessarily related. Can it be related? Of course. And it's a very good combination as well. Now, I don't mind any position in this regard. I respect every person's right to believe in what they want. And I never impose my point of view, and I never allow anyone to impose their point of view on me. So in this regard, I'm all for. Am I a spiritual person? Yes. Am I a faithful person? Let me tell you a story, and we'll get back to this. When I was 19, I went to Scotland to work on a farm. It was a student program for the summer. And I went to see the world and make some money as well. So it was very, very expensive. And my parents had to borrow a lot of money for me to be able to get into the program. And it was my responsibility to pay my parents back. Okay, so we made it happen. But I went to Scotland not for the duration that I was supposed to, so not as planned. So when I got there, I realized that it was impossible for me to earn the money that I have to give to my parents. So I started looking for work. I left the farm, and all I had was the 92 pounds that I got paid for the first week. And I had nothing else. I had no shelter, I had nowhere to live, I had nowhere to sleep. And Scotland has a very rough climate, and it was freezing, absolutely freezing at night, like nothing else. So I started knocking on doors. I started looking for work everywhere. My visa didn't really allow me to work in any other places, but I had no choice, really. So I just went around looking for any kind of work I can find just to earn this money. And after a while, I had no money left for food and water and stuff like that. So I had two problems already. I had no place to sleep, and I had no food or water. So one night, while walking through a forest, why was I walking through the forest at night? Because I was trying to sneak into a strawberry plantation to eat some strawberries at night, just so I don't starve to death. And very often there were no ripe strawberries because they always picked them up. So I had to eat like green, raw strawberries in it. I guess it was better than nothing at the time. But in this forest, I found like a construction site dump, an illegal one. It was not really a construction site, but just someone dumped their construction rubbish. And I found planks of wood and lots of stuff. And I had an idea, and I improvised a tent using wooden planks, using some plastic covers and stuff like that. So I just improvised a tent. And it kept me warm, and I had shelter from the rain. So it was okay. I had one problem less, but I still didn't have any food. After that followed a period of 3 days of absolute starvation. So I didn't have any kind of food, just like raw green strawberries every now and then. So after 3 days, I woke up in the tent at 5 a.m. It was still dark, and I woke up because of the pain in my stomach. The green strawberries must have caused some kind of gastric acid, whatever, and I was really feeling the pain, So I woke up, and I just thought about, what am I going to do next? How am I going to get out of this situation? I don't want to starve to death in Scotland, in these woods, but I don't want to return home without money. I don't want to put my parents in this position. So what should I do? I had no answers. I was 19 years old. I didn't have life experience. I didn't know how to solve these problems. So I was scared. I was hopeless. I was desperate. And for the first time in my life, when there are no people around, when no one can help, when I don't have the answers, when my efforts have finished, I started thinking about something more than humans in this universe. I started thinking about God. I never really thought about that. I come from a Christian Orthodox country. I had a cross on my chain, as just a tradition, but I never really thought about these types of things. So for the first time in that tent, at 5 a.m. in the morning, after waking up from excruciating pain, I thought about, what if there is someone who can help me? I don't even know how to pray. I don't even know how to ask or how this help is supposed to even look like, but I don't care. I don't have any other options. So I closed my eyes and I just said, look, I don't know how to say this. I don't know who am I talking to or if I'm being heard. But if someone hears me right now, please just don't let me die in this tent. Please just help me find a way out of this situation. And I saw a flash, a really short flash, just like when taking a picture. I saw it in my mind. A flash came up and I saw a pavement. Okay, a pavement, and it was a round pavement. It was very close, so I couldn't see where this is located. I just saw it from very up close. And on this pavement, I saw a 5-pound bill. That's the flash I had in my mind at that very instant. So I opened my eyes and I thought, what is this? Because I didn't know how to interpret this flash. Maybe it's a thought that I have. Maybe I just thought in that moment that wouldn't it be nice to find 5 pounds? They could feed me for about 3 days at the time. So, that would be really nice. So I just decided it was some kind of thought that I had in that moment. So nothing else happened and I thought that, this is useless. So I just laid on my back, and there was something that something that didn't allow me to just lay back in that situation. There was some kind of inner urge to get up and start walking. I get up and go now. And I thought, what? Why? Where? It's still dark and it's raining. And go where? I don't have any strength. No. And the more I resisted, the harder the urge became, and the level of anxiety rose. So the more I resisted, the more I felt anxious. Like, get up and go now. Just get up and start walking. What is, no, I'm not going anywhere. Just get up and go now. So, you know. And it got to the point where I couldn't resist any longer. Just the anxiety grew too much and this urge became too persistent for me to resist. So I just, got up, got dressed, got my stuff and started walking. And it was a 20-minute walk out of the woods, dark woods, in light rain. And I had no strength. But I kept going because I couldn't resist this urge. So as I was walking through the forest, my mind started getting invaded by thoughts like, what are you doing, man? Just go home. Just give up. You failed. You'll fix it somehow, but just go home. Don't go through this. It's not worth it. It's not solving anything. But I wasn't ready to give up. So I had this inner dialogue, this inner conflict. And I totally forgot about what happened in the tent. So now I'm just walking with this heavy bag. And I'm thinking, listen, I should probably really go home. No, I shouldn't. I have to keep going. But where to find food? I just need to find food. And stuff like that is going through my head. And I'm walking out of the forest. And I start entering the town. And as I'm thinking about these two options, as I'm weighing them, I suddenly stop. And I look down. And I see the round pavement. And it was still dark. It was just starting to get brighter. You couldn't really see everything, but I could see the contours. Okay, so what I could see are the lines, the contours of a bill, of a pound bill. And I just froze when I realized that this could be a 5-pound bill from the flesh in the tent. And it's the first time when I encountered such a thing. So it really shocked me. I just froze for an entire minute. And after a minute of just staring, shocked at this bill, I decided to try and pick it up. And I went slowly, as if not wanting to scare it off, And I just went down slowly. And I picked it up. And I looked at it. And it was a 5-pound bill. And this is a real story that happened to me. So you try and explain it now. Okay? You try and tell me that this is not some kind of divine intervention. You try and convince me that my survival instinct activated some kind of, superpowers. And I could see that there's a 5-pound bill somewhere nearby. Now, in this type of questions, I am never categorical. I don't know. That's why I won't say what it was, for sure. I think that it's not really reasonable to be categorical. I mean, to say that this 100% was divine intervention, or it was 100% some kind of survival instinct that activated some kind of superpowers. I don't know. What I do believe in is that there is a superpower. There is a higher being, there is a higher power, a higher intellect. There is a higher energy. There is a creator that created everything and that coordinates everything, and that somehow received my SOS and responded. That's what I believe in. What is that energy? Is that God? Yes. Yes, I believe in the existence of God. What God is this? Now that's a different question. Personally, I don't see the necessity of choosing a particular religion or doctrine like Christianity, or Islam, or Buddhism, or Hinduism, or stuff like that. Why? What for? And for me personally, there are certain inconsistencies, okay, that prevent me from going all in to a doctrine, like saying, okay, this is the Christian God, and I'm a Christian, and I believe in the Christian God. No. No. And I don't see the necessity. I don't see the value in that. Why do I have to choose a particular doctrine? Why? Stuff like, for example, in order to be saved, according to the Christian doctrine, in order to be saved, you have to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. And that's the condition of going to heaven and being saved and stuff like that. But what about billions of other people that just name their God otherwise? They do not believe in Jesus Christ. They believe in Muhammad. They believe in whatever, Buddha. I don't care. But they don't believe in Jesus Christ. And they are good, honest, decent people. Don't they deserve to go to heaven? What, just because they don't call their God Jesus Christ? How is that reasonable? So, I don't mind. I respect people's choices, people's right to believe in whatever they want. There's no problem in that. For me personally, I don't see the necessity of choosing a particular doctrine. For me, it's God. It's the Creator. It's a higher energy, a higher power, a higher intellect, if you'd like, with whom I am in touch. And if it's not a traditional faith that I have, do I have stuff like prayers? Of course, of course. And I talk about this in another video of mine, and you will also find the link in the description. But every day I express my gratitude to God for the life I have, for this gift I've been given, for everything that surrounds me, for everything that happens to me, for the person I've become, for who I am. And my spirituality is that I am one with the creation. I am in close contact with God. I am in close contact with myself. I believe in the harmony of all being, of the creation. I believe in not harming others. I believe in not envying others. I believe in not doing harm to people that harm you, not having such a response. That is my spirituality. I believe in being conscious of who I am, what am I doing, and how it affects me and the outside world. I believe in having a moral richness, a moral wealth, being a good person, being responsive, being kind, being loving, being caring, being understanding, That's what I believe in. And I believe that spirituality is very important. Very important for every person, and especially for addicts in recovery. So, I wish you lots of spiritual wealth, development. I wish you all the best. Take care of yourself and expand your consciousness. I'll see you soon.